Hi, this is Beth Gay Freeman, and we're here to have another little session of things about Scottish genealogy and things you need to know before you even start your Scottish genealogy. Now, this week I actually cleaned out my desk drawers in my office. I'm sure there was shaking all over the earth when I did that. But in the process, I found this picture, and I had to show it to you. Remember my pretty hat? It's on the wall behind me. And the hat was given to me by Miss Isabel Mackenzie, a friend that I made on the first trip I ever made to Scotland with my friend Marty. And she remained a friend as long as she lived. But here she is. Looky here. This is Mrs. Isabel Mackenzie. She went with us when we went to the Isle of Musa and to the Broch there. And it was so funny because the wind was blowing very hard and we were all walking sort of slantedy. And I said, Mrs. Mackenzie, please let me hold on to you, because if you get blown into the North Sea, your son would kill me. And she didn't, and she lived a long time after that. But she was a lovely lady, and that's who gave me my wonderful hat. Today, we're going to talk about you are your own best evidence. On the 25th anniversary of John Kennedy's assassination, I had the wonderful opportunity to interview, in my radio days, Mr. David Lifton. Now, David Lifton wrote a fascinating account of John Kennedy's assassination. It is called Best Evidence. In his book, Lifton says that in a murder, the body is the best evidence. Amazingly, the same theory holds true in genealogy. Now, you have to take off your shoes and look at your own bare feet. Their story begins with the Germanic tribes of Angles and Saxons who invaded Britain in the 5th and 6th centuries. The language they brought has evolved today into our modern English. Some say that their laws formed the basis of English common law, and their feet, some scientists now say, literally formed the basis of modern Englishmen. A retired Gloucestershire podiatrist, Phyllis Jackson, says that during World War II, refugees of Scottish, Irish, Welsh, and Cornish ancestry came to the small town of Hereford where she was living. Some of those refugees became her patients. She said, I realized that the foot shapes of the Celtic patients were quite different from the English ones I was accustomed to, and they all had bunions. By the way, the 7 Celtic nations are Scotland, Ireland, Cornwall, Wales, the Isle of Man, the coast of Brittany, and Spanish Galicia. Traditional English feet, she says, tend to be broad and somewhat pointed, with the toes forming a steep angle from the 1st to the 5th. The Celtic evacuees, in contrast, had toe tips that were almost level with one another. Their feet tended to be longer and slimmer, except for a bulge at the base of the big toe where bunions form. The English shoe, modeled for an English foot, just didn't fit the Celtic shape. It was from trying to wear the English shoes that the Celtic bunions formed. When Dr. Jackson retired from podiatry, she took up amateur archaeology, but kept her focus on the feet of the skeletal remains of Saxons and Celts from a 6th century cemetery in Laclade, Gloucestershire. She found that she could really tell the difference between the Saxon and the Celtic foot. Aside from obvious differences, Dr. Jackson found a distinctive, slightly scrunched cuboid bone in the Saxon feet and a more square cuboid bone in the Celtic foot. Reflecting my very own genealogical muttness, in that I have Scottish, Welsh, English, Swedish, French, Native American, and probably many other genetic backgrounds in my own makeup. My own footsies are the fat Saxon shape. Let me say that again. My own footsies are the fat Saxon shape with the straight across toes and bulge by my big toe of my Celtic heritage. What do your own feet tell you? By the way, we've had our DNA done, and I have Native American hair, and as you can see, my hair is stick straight. It will not curl. And I was told by a doctor one time that my hair is Indian hair, or else it is Asian hair. There's more chance of me having Native American heritage than there is of having Asian heritage. But either one would be fine, but my hair is the way it is just because it's the way it is and what my genetic makeup told it to be. So no matter what your DNA says, your body does its own thing. But Native American hair not only is stick straight, but if you pull out an individual hair and look at it under a microscope, it is flat like a piece of paper, like this, and not round like a pencil, like regular hair is. So, and the only bad thing is that you have to pay a whole lot more for haircuts when you have Native American hair. For every scissors cut shows, beauticians do not like me because it's harder to cut my hair. But what do your own feet tell you? And we'll get into more interesting things about our bodies and what they can tell us when we do genealogy. Now, medical genealogy is something that we all need to do. Now, that is when you are researching a person, you pay attention to why they died. How, what did they have something, a disease, or did they have, what did they say your ancestors died from? The people that in the last 150 years or so are pretty easy. It gets a little bit harder when you get beyond that. There are books that will tell you what strange sounding diseases mean in today's medicine. But find out what killed everybody. Find out how everybody was. I know one family that had 10 children in this time, and they were very susceptible to cancer and cancer of their innards, oh dear. But anyway, all 10 of those children died from this cancer. And if you have something in your family that is in every generation, please go to the doctor and tell them. And there are a lot of things you can do to prevent everybody having it and everybody dying. Colon cancer. Thank you very much, Brain. This family had colon cancer. In my family, everybody has diabetes. And I'm type 2 diabetic and do very, very well. It's just fine. But do write down and do keep a record of everybody that you can, what they died, if they had anything in their personality, if they were renowned for their bad temper, if they were renowned for being kind and sweet, if they were renowned for drinking alcohol, if they were anything, write it down so that you will know. Now, medical genealogy is very important. So be sure and think about it as you do your genealogy. Now, I have a question for you. What did you call your male parent? Okay, if you called him father, chances are you are from Germanic heritage. If you called him papa or papa, chances are you are of French or English extraction. Here it comes. If you called him dad or daddy, the chances are excellent that you are of Scottish family. So think about it and see. It's just the easiest way in the world to start your search for Scottish heritage. Thank you so much. By the way, I do a publication called Beth's Newfangled Family Tree. It's on the internet on Electric Scotland. It's free. There's no charge. And all you have to do is go to https://electricscotland.com/B for Beth's, N for Newfangled, and F for family, and T for tree. Beth's Newfangled Family Tree. It's up there all the time. There's no time when it's not. It's up there all the time, and you may go at any time to see the latest issues, which are there right in front of you, and also the last, I think, 15 or 16 years of archives are right there, and you're allowed to play and play and play among all those. No charge at all in any direction. You can also forward those publications to as many people as you like. I hope you're enjoying this. I'm learning. I'm really trying to do better every week, but it's great fun. Thank you so much for watching, and hope to see you next week.